Hello and welcome everyone. This is Type V3 with a Gunpla review of the 1 to 144th scale, High Grade Super Fumina, the full embodiment of Minato Sakai's love, realized in plastic model kit form. HG Super Fumina is comprised of 11 parts in total. There's 8 main plastic runners, a set of polycaps, a sheet of foil stickers, and a display stand. As far as the build is concerned, it's very unique for a Gundam. I mean, it's more human than robot, so in that regard, if you're familiar with any of Bandai's humanoid kits, like their recent Star Wars offerings, then you'll know what to expect here. Simple, snap-together pieces linked by numerous polycap connections form the basic frame, while the backpack and weapons follow the traditional Gunpla patterns. It's certainly not the most complex build, but because it's so different from the standard Gundam offerings, I found it hugely entertaining. With assembly complete, you have a pretty cute looking Gundam. Well, that is if you can call it a Gundam. After all, this is essentially a girl wearing a maid's outfit and equipped with some guns. Regardless, it definitely resembles the Gunpla seen in the anime. Colors are correct, proportions are feminine, and the sculpting largely matches the original model's details. There's nothing obviously missing. However, a majority of Super Fumina's finer points are made from the use of stickers, and they were clearly not the ideal solution for the best visual presentation. First are the eyelash stickers, and they're horrendous. It's basically 2 paper bars that run across the sides of her face. It's just ugly. Then there's the pink stickers that make up her shorts. Being a curved surface, the standard problem of uneven application arises, although the skirt tends to hide most of the troublesome spots. If you've got any skill with a paintbrush, I suggest you use them in place of these. As for the rest of the kit, there's not too much else to add for animation accuracy. The main things to focus on are painting her ribbon blue, as well as painting the shirt buckles black. There's smaller pieces that could use touching up, still, these are really the only 2 spots that I feel are mandatory. Panel lining opportunities are few, as is the need for seam line removal. I will admit that the kit is somewhat plain on its own and would probably benefit from multiple personal touches here and there. If anything, it's worth being creative with Super Fumina, as a straight build won't make for the most impressive display piece. Super Fumina crushes the high-grade norms when it comes to height, as she stands nearly 6.5 inches tall. While that's not quite master-grade size, she towers over similarly priced HGs. Fumina's head is on a double ball joint setup, so there's one at the base of the neck, one at the base of the head. It gets pretty good rotation. These guns get in the way, so if I just move those out, you can see that they tend to move a lot better. The thing is, she has this huge ponytail and ribbon, and what you can do with this is these are just connected on a swivel point, and these can move out of the way to your liking. That seems to help a lot more with more agile poses. For the rest of the torso, all she has is a ball joint right in the mid-waist here. This gets you side to side, a bit of rolling and ab crunch action, but nothing too impressive. There's also one at the lower waist, but it's not really gonna do anything because this giant skirt tends to cover it all. And if you're wondering, this skirt piece here is made of a soft, rubbery type of plastic. The arm is connected by a giant ball joint into a polycap that tends to do a little bit of swing out motion. It's not the greatest, but it does help a little bit. There is a hinge connected to the shoulder. This lets it go outwards. You do have a bicep rotation. And of course, you can see right here, there are double jointed elbows, which have pretty great range. You do just have a simple ball joint for the polycap on the wrist. Moving lower, you can see that each of these skirt pieces are not movable. They're actually just pegged in pretty simply, and when you tend to move the leg outwards, sometimes they can get knocked loose, so that's a bit of an issue. The legs or hips themselves are just connected by simple universal joints, so you can swing them forward, you can swing them outwards slightly. There is a thigh cut right at the base of the short here, so that's how that works. You do have double jointed knees, and you have some really good reverse knee bend, so that's, I mean, should you need it, it's there. The ankles are a bit of a disappointment. They do have, well, they're basically a giant ball hinge with 2 pegs that goes through here and one into the foot. They give you good side to side, and they should give you good pivoting up and down and ankle rocking motion, but the thing is that this ankle guard is so high that a lot of the movement in those directions are a bit restricted. The other thing too is because these feet are kind of small, that makes her very hard to stand without falling backwards. Another reason why Fumina is pretty hard to balance is just this backpack. It's very heavy and it tends to keep her falling backwards a lot. Now, it operates the same way as the Power GM Cardigan, so it's just 4 basic arms that hold shields and this gun. You can basically move them in any direction you want. It's pretty easy and intuitive to do, nothing too restrictive on this end. Fumina's articulation is not unlike that of an average action figure. It's pretty good, though the ankles could have been better. The heavy backpack also makes it tricky to balance. Accessories included with Super Fumina are a pair of fists, a right trigger finger, a beam machine gun, and beam blade effects. The gun and hands are fairly straightforward in use and display nicely. The effect parts connect to the bottom of each shield, furthering the melee options. Last is the included display stand. It plugs into the bottom of Fumina's backpack, and together with all of the kit's accessories, she can be displayed in a numerous amount of aerial poses. As the self-proclaimed #1 Super Fumina fan, I have to admit this high grade isn't the greatest kit the Build Fighters lineup has seen. The base visual foundations are solid, yet the finishing details, rather the horrible sticker use, just let it down. It's not something you'll want to straight build and call it a day. This is a model kit that will need some extra work if you want it to look decent. More work still if you want it to shine. Articulation and accessories are good, though the weak ankles and heavy backpack mean that she's more or less restricted to the display stand, save for a couple of poses. On the bright side, her huge size makes for a nice surprise and good value considering this is still an averagely priced high grade. It's a diverse package overall, though nothing about it is truly outstanding. Ultimately, the 1/144th scale, HG Super Fumina, is more intriguing than she is good, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. In the realm of Gunpla, she's certainly one of a kind, and that's probably her greatest quality. Make no mistake, better model kits can be had at this price point, and let's not forget that for some, the idea of a female robot is an immediate turnoff. Still, in terms of uniqueness, nothing is greater than the charm of this battle maiden. But that's all for me. Thanks for watching, and I hope this isn't the end of Super Fumina. After all, Bandai seem to have a division dedicated to their armored girl projects.